Episode 299.
That's insane.
That was loud too. Hopefully that didn't hurt anybody's ears.
Yeah, I'm going to have to edit that.
Danny, who do we have on today?
We had Brooke Stilla on, and she was so sweet. She is an Australian singer that lived in Toronto for the past 8 years, and it's been announced, but she's moving back to Australia.
I know, it's so sad.
But like, it wasn't like a big, like, she told us offline during the episode, but she couldn't really talk about it then when we filmed. But she's gone. She was so nice. I absolutely loved sitting down and chatting with her. And it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, she had such good energy, and just you can tell she was a good person.
Yeah.
Not
and
what,
like,
she is a good person.
She is a good person.
I always do that, like they're gone or something.
Yeah.
Well, she technically is gone now from Canada,
but she went through a lot too in the past year. She got like a massive concussion, so like kind of her getting back into music and like launching like a solo career while having this concussion. She's like recorded in her house, all that kind of stuff, which is just a crazy story. And
it's a good story of adversity and like beating adversity.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on, and we wish you like good luck back home, and we hope you come back and visit.
Honestly, yeah, Danny said that well enough.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, well, let's get into this. Who do you think is the most talented singer-songwriter ever? Ever.
Well, ever is kind of hard because like that's a big loaded question.
I think Max Martin's an incredible producer, writer.
You don't even know who that is.
I don't. You're right. I do not.
He's written Britney Spears, Ariana Grande, lots of people. Geez, that's just a few.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah.
Who's yours?
I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about like the back end of things because like when you look at, only now have I realized how many songs are released and they haven't even had like it's someone else's song.
Right, someone else's, like we were talking about, like Meghan Trainor, right?
Like,
she's written so many songs.
Meghan Trainor has like written so many songs that you like love, but it's a different artist is singing it.
Who's that?
And releasing it.
The guy from Not Imagine Dragons, One Republic, Ryan Tedder.
Yep, written so many songs.
He's written
too.
like I think when you look at his thing, he's got like credits on over 90 number one hits or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna say Elton John has got to be up there.
Yes.
Elton's Prince.
Okay, yeah.
And
There's
I'm
so
saying
many.
Taylor.
I think Taylor is up there as one of the best songwriters.
Actually, and I hate saying this too, Kanye's probably up there too.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Producer,
as
singer, songwriter.
Well, because he's just so creative.
And Meghan Trainor. I mean, I said Meghan
Yeah.
Trainor before. I love her too.
Yeah. I'm not a big Meghan Trainor fan.
I wasn't a big fan either, and then I realized, she's married to the guy from Spy Kids.
Actually, I
Yeah,
think I
it's
did
cute.
know that though.
And
Yeah,
their kid is just
Junie.
like a baby
I
Spy
think I
Kid.
saw
Like
that.
literally looks
It's on
like him. It's this
I
little
think
ginger
I saw
kid.
that on TikTok or something.
Yeah, and he tours
Yeah.
with them. He's touring
Yeah.
right now with them
He
with the
comes
baby.
out on the stage.
And he comes out on stage.
That's cute.
But like I just look at him, I'm like, you're Spy Kids, and he just looks like the exact same. Like he looks like him as a kid, but just like as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a big baby looking. Anyways.
I think Meghan Trainor for me is, I know a lot of people are like, oh, like I don't really listen to much of her stuff, but she really stood out for me because when I was, I think I didn't even know we're the same age. Basically, I think Meghan Trainor's younger than me, and I was like, wait, what? I thought she was like 33, and I'm like, no, I think she's 30 or 29.
I'm 29.
I think she's 20 in that age bracket. Anyway, I remember when All About That Bass came out, and I just started driving. And I was like, I listened to the lyrics and I was like, I really needed this song when I was 8 years old because I was always like the chubbier kid in school. And I feel like I always got like bullied, and being in dance, it was like, you got to lose weight. And hearing that, I was like, yeah, I got booty. Like I've got all the bass. Like it was kind of like nice.
Oh, I never knew that's what the song was about.
Me neither.
Oh, it was just like, I've got booty. I've got like, I'm thicker. Like it is what it is kind of thing.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
When did you start dancing?
I was 2 years old.
So was I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody says that. Like when you start dancing, okay, you were just kind of like learning to walk.
Flailing on the stage.
I've got videos of myself and my sister, and I'm like picking up my sister, like trying to put her in order. And she's like, no, she's flimsy because she's like a baby. But I was very much like, no, like you go there. Like I was like, this is how you do a cartwheel. Like I've always been very like, I'm the leader kind of energy, So I feel like I was actually dancing like at 2. I don't know.
I can see that.
It was probably more like twerking.
Do you ever see the videos of like the little kids at like dance recitals and like it's just chaos?
Oh, it's literally like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and bouncing around stage.
It's like when you watch little kids play hockey or something.
Yeah.
I saw you went to a hockey game the other day.
I
Is that your
did.
first hockey game?
Not my first one,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
Because like hockey is not a thing in Australia.
No, it's not. And my partner like plays hockey, and that's when I was kind of first introduced to it. And I was like, oh my God, hockey's so cool. And I was like, wait, they just fight on the ice? He's like, are you fucking kidding? Of course they fight on the ice.
Don't they fight less now?
Yeah, but like it's still there's usually like
It's
one
still
fight a
fighting.
game,
Yeah, but like the refs let them. There was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
really long one last night as well. And it wasn't until like, I'd say a minute in, they fell onto the ice. And I was like, oh, they were really like pursuing this fight on skates. But yeah.
I know I said this offline, but I could listen to Aussies talk all day long. Like I love it. Aussie accents are probably that or British are my favorite accents by a mile.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've lost it a little bit living here for so long?
When I talk to my friends, they're like, it's diluted a little bit, but I've caught myself like, I'll say like Dollarama and not like Dollarama. Like little things are like there, like, you know, sometimes when I talk, like the R just sticks out a little more than it used to. But I'm happy that it's like diluted a little bit, because like I could talk like this, you know, and like be true blue Aussie if you really want me to. I could be like, oh yeah, you know, nah, not a problem.
Wait, so when you sing, do you make a conscious effort to sing like more Americanized?
That always intrigues me so
Yeah.
much to hear like
Yeah.
how like you can't hear people's accents when they sing.
That's a good question, because I made a TikTok about this actually, and I was like, people always say to me, are you speaking in Australia, like are you singing in an American accent? And I'm like, no, that's literally how I sing. And I think maybe because a lot of artists are American, so listening subconsciously as a child, you've kind of mimicked that,
Yeah.
right? But I feel as though when I've tried to sing in like my accent, it doesn't even fucking sound like singing. It sounds ridiculous. I'm like, I can't go out there and sing like this. I sound like I'm tone fucking deaf. You know?
It makes sense to me. But it's just like, because again, growing up, actually, well, who were some of your inspirations growing up?
As like singers, vocalists, Britney Spears.
That's what I mean. So it's like
1000%.
I was gonna say like you're a couple years younger than me, but you would have grown up during the Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Spice
Backstreet
Girls,
Boys, Spice Girls.
So
yeah.
Spice Girls were different because you could tell they were Brits, but
Yeah.
even them sounded a little bit Americanized.
Right, like you can hear Mel when she's going, yo, I tell you what I want, what I
Yeah.
really, really.
But it's only when she's speaking.
Yes.
When they're actually singing,
When
they
they're
sound like
Very
Americanized.
Yeah. And that's the same thing. Like in one of my songs, Not Over Getting Over You, that I released, I speak in it. There's like a little dialogue section. And I said to the producer, like, should I like do it in an American Canadian accent? He's like, are you fucking kidding? He's like, your accent is so charming. And I was like, okay, I guess. And then listening back to it, I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Like, I hate the sound of it.
Oh my God, I love it.
But Canadians have made me appreciate my accent
Fucking
a lot
right.
more.
We have the Canadians. No, we're not gonna talk shit about Canadians because we are nice people, but our accents are boring.
I think they're pretty
Like, I'd rather
nice.
have a New York accent.
I
Even though it's
remember-
uglier, it's just like there's
It's
something
something
about it.
unique about it. But again, people think we have unique accents.
But in Canada, you don't know where someone
Yeah.
is from unless it's like Quebec is different. But anybody from like Alberta, Manitoba,
Grr.
BC, you can't tell the difference in how we talk.
Right.
Whereas in the States, oh yeah,
Well, when I met a lot of Canadians on my very first trip to Cancun, I was like, so whereabouts are you from in America? And they're like, I'm Canadian. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Am I meant to be sorry?
Wait, why'd you go to because don't Aussies usually do like Thailand and Southeast Asia?
Yeah.
Like, Mexico is a very North American thing.
Yeah, I went on a girls' trip when I was 21 because I was like, I can drink in America now when we can drink in Australia at 18. But we were like, let's go on a trip. So we went on a girls' trip. We're all 21. We go to Coachella. We go to Vegas. We go to San Francisco. We go to Mexico because we were like, well, while we're there, we might as well
do
go to
everything.
Mexico. I don't know if I'm ever going to see Mexico, right? Little did I know I'm going to move to Canada, and I've been to Mexico fucking 3 times now. But that's why we were in Mexico. So we were like, yeah, might as well while we're there. Because it's such a bloody long flight from
Oh, yeah,
Australia.
it's
It's
fucking
like 30 hours or something.
Okay, I want to rewind because even we were talking off air and I didn't even get your full story yet. When did you start singing and dancing, performing? Like, bring me back to the beginning because I feel like we talked a lot off air, which we don't normally do.
Yeah.
We usually don't get that into it, but I feel like we just skipped the normal part of it.
We skipped the beginning era.
Yeah. Give us the beginning. Give us
The
the
era.
start. Yeah. Let's not talk eras right now. Like, I don't want to get too excited.
The beginning?
Yeah.
How I got into it.
Yeah, like when did you know, like, I'm good?
I feel like I've always been good. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I got a big head. But my mum put me in singing when I was 7 years old because she noticed that I could sing at the age of 2. I don't remember this. This is the story I've been told. But when my sister was born, can we keep singing with this siren going on?
So
Can we
funny.
keep singing? I'm going to be singing. I'm fucking
It's
talking.
funny because we get one siren an episode. It's like
At
guaranteed every single time, and it can faintly pick it up depending on how close and how loud it is.
Right.
But it'll hear it.
I was just like, oh my God, am I meant to be talking? Is everyone looking
you're
at me
good,
like
you're
I'm
good.
doing the wrong fucking thing?
You're good. It happens once an episode at least.
So when I was 2 years old, my sister was born, and apparently I sang "Heal the World" to her, and that's like one of my all-time favorite songs.
What song?
Like, "Heal the World," Michael Jackson. Heal
Don't
the
know.
world, make it a better place.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yes,
no,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So I sang that to her because obviously she was like a gift. Are you kidding? I've got the bestest friend in my life now, forever.
Aw.
And then my mum put me into music, into like singing when I was 5, into group singing. But I've always been a sassy energy on stage. So it wasn't even like I can sing. It was like, I just love being in the center. I just love to dance and I love to like put on a smile on stage, right? And then I think it got to like, I think just dancing at like a competitive studio was like when we did musical theater, there would be like auditions and I would normally get one of the lead parts for singing. So I was like, oh, like I must be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we did X Factor as a girl group, that was just like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
So I guess like really it was X Factor. But as a kid, I've always been such a bubbly, outgoing energy that's just like, my parents have never dimmed my light. They've always encouraged me to like be outgoing and full of energy. So yeah, I guess that's where the
love
start of
that.
it was. Yeah.
That's a good story too. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you've been doing this your whole life. It's not like what was the aha moment? It's like, no, the aha moment is that like probably X Factor, but you were kind of already doing everything.
You knew
before.
regardless of what you were doing, like you wanted to be like front and center stage and like this is who I am.
Yeah.
And you weren't ever like shying away from that.
Yeah, and I think no matter what, like in the music industry, like so many of my music friends are like, it's like, I want it so bad, but it's like such a hard industry. And there's like, for me, I don't think there isn't another option. Like I'm in my bones and in my soul, I know I'm meant to be on stage. Like even if I'm not songwriting and writing my songs, I know I'm meant to be at the forefront performing because that's what I fucking love doing.
Well, so that's what I was gonna ask, is if you liked writing more or like being in the studio making the songs, or if you like being on stage. But I think
I do like writing. I like bringing my life and my stories to life through music because I think music is the universal language that everybody understands. But performing is like 1,000%. Like being a dancer, like being able to act on stage too, like through music. That's always just been, yeah.
And it kind of how we started this conversation, like the best performers. The best performers are the ones that can make you forget about everything else and feel what they want you to feel on
Yeah.
stage, right? Whether it's, you know, love, whether it's energy, whether it's sadness, whether it's pain, like
Yeah.
I always think about one of the single best performances for any song, and I say this every time I hear the song, is I Fall Apart by Post Malone. When I watch him sing that song, and I've seen him sing it probably 7 or 8 times live, I fucking feel pain.
Right.
Like to my bones, I feel hurt. Like I feel sadness, darkness, loneliness. Like I feel fucking pain.
Yeah.
And that's what a good performer is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel something like they're supposed to make you feel what they want you to feel.
Right. And they bring out the things that you didn't even know
Yeah.
you had.
Like I watched Post Malone sing that song. I'm just like, I need to know, like, is he just that good of an actor, or is he reliving this pain in his fucking bones every time he sings this song?
1,000% reliving it.
Yeah.
well, it's like when you like with your book, when you're rereading some of like
Yeah.
your poems, you literally said like you were
Yeah,
going
that's
back in
true,
your brain
actually.
and feeling that. So it's like I feel like that's the same thing with singing.
Yeah.
You're
But
going back
Can
to
you
that
turn
moment.
it on and off? Because again, when you get on stage, you're. I'm not saying you're not you, but you are performing. You're the performer version of yourself.
Yeah.
Can you just turn it on and off?
I think so. Like, well, it's hard. When I was going through like my concussion symptoms this year, I did have a show and I felt like I couldn't even be me, which normally like the energy is There's a
I
second.
told you that's the
siren.
second one. That's
Is that
why
really bad luck today.
we're moving studios. You might be one of the last people in the studio. Who knows? No, I'm
Okay,
kidding.
well, I'm blessed to be here. Yes, still.
No, but continue.
I feel like when I was going through like the darkest time that I've experienced in my life this year, I had to do a show because it was already like booked to do. And I remember having a panic attack before I got on because I was like, I'm not me right now. So I feel like, I'm not sure. I don't think people put it on when they perform, but maybe after a while, like example, Taylor Swift, like she's touring. She's been touring for a long time. At this point, it's like, well, I've got a show to do. No matter what I'm feeling, I got to get on the stage, and I got to put on a
And
fucking
I gotta hit
good
those
show.
cues and do everything. Yeah.
You know, like, so, and they paid a lot of fucking money. So I got to get out there.
It's so tough because, okay, you're the best. This is such a good example. Like, you didn't feel that you were the best version of yourself. You were, had a panic attack, but you still got to go out there and do your job because that's your job. And people, it was pre-booked. People paid. It's so tough. Whenever somebody cancels a show, the world's all up in arms. Well, I paid money. I got hotels. I got this. Like, think about that person that's on stage. Like,
They're a person.
you don't think you don't think that they don't want to do this? Okay,
Yeah.
there's the one in 100 where someone gets too drunk the night before. You get like I don't know, Morgan Wallens of the world or whoever. But 99% of times, artists love doing what they do. They love performing. To cancel a show, it hurts them just as much as it hurts like the fans.
Yeah.
So like even you go up there, you don't feel 100%, but you know that you got to do this because again, you're doing it for them. You're also doing it because you love to do it.
Yeah. And for me, throughout all of this year, I would have been performing so much more considering I just released my debut EP. But because of my concussion that I went through, I was like, I can't physically be around a lot of that stimulation. So instead of like putting on a show and being like, I'm going to do a show, I knew that I wasn't able to follow through to the extent that I wanted to. So I was like, I'm better off not. So all of my shows this year have just been acoustic with my guitarist and me because I know I'm capable of
That's what you can handle.
following through.
Well,
right?
it's like we just had this conversation because Chapel Roan just canceled the show a couple weeks ago in Australia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it was at a festival, and it was like she's like, I can't do the show like for her mental health, and people are like, okay, well, we spent all this money, blah blah blah, and then there was other artists being like, no, this is your job, go out there, do what you need to do, and then there was other people being like, no, like she is a person, you gotta remember that at the end of the day. So it's a very controversial topic, I think, even just like right now, because also just focusing on you and mental health and how you're feeling is so important. But again, like you said, like you need to go to your limits, and this is your job.
And it's so hard when your name is the brand and the job too. It's like no one else can go out for Chapel. No one else can go out for Brooke. No one else can go out
Yeah, it's
for...
like if I have a bad day at work, nobody's on my ass. What the fuck? You ruined my life. No one's going on Twitter complaining about me at work.
Right.
You have
It's
a
like,
bad day at
what
work.
the
It's like,
fuck?
what the
Yeah.
fuck? You ruined this. My daughter paid so much money. She was looking for it. It's like, like, remember, that's still a fucking person.
Right.
Well, it's like people canceling their actual like full-on tours. Like we'll never really know why Shawn Mendes canceled his tour.
And again, I don't think any of them want to.
That's
the thing, right?
People's like, oh, they don't know what it means to the fans. Like, yeah, they do. Like,
yeah.
it's tough.
Well, it's also taking away part of their career, and like that at that time.
Yeah. Back to the EP. So you released the EP, first EP, debut EP, right?
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What's the feeling and the vibe behind it?
It's about my last relationship. I'm going to be brutally honest because that's just who I am. I'm
I would hope
fucking
so.
Australian.
Why, the rest of us aren't honest?
Well, I mean, Canadians can kind of white lie
We can
sometimes.
tiptoe. We
just
can
to keep
tiptoe
the
around
peace.
it.
Okay, fair enough.
Whereas Australians like, nah, we don't like him, you know? We don't say that. Like, I'm not saying that about you guys. But I love you guys straight away. Like, the energy was great. The debut EP, K-Bye, which I thought was just hilarious to do because it's my intro and I'm like, K-Bye. So I did it as a little bit of a joke. But K-Bye was the first song that I wrote in Toronto. So I was like, this definitely has to be on the EP. And I don't know, it was like...
Wait, so it was your
kind
first song? And it's now the first song of the EP?
She wrote it in Toronto.
it was one of the first songs I wrote in Toronto. Yeah. And I was like, it has to be on the EP. It's the fourth song on the EP. But I was like, I think it needs to be the title. And because that relationship, the one that I was telling you about outside before, because we spoke before, it dragged on for way too long that when it was done and when I was granted the Factor grant that I got that supported this album, I was like, it needs to be called K-Bye. Like, finally, I'm done get out of my life kind of energy. So that's kind of the whole EP. Like it starts from, you go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, how is it like releasing this EP about a past relationship when you're now in like a happy like relationship?
I love that you asked me that. I don't think I was able to release this stuff when I was in that relationship because I was scared for my life a little bit. My partner loves all of the songs. He thinks they're all incredible. He doesn't say anything about it. He's just like, yeah, I know, you got to do what you got to do kind of thing.
But do you think the love and support from him makes you reliving that and releasing that a little bit easier?
100%.
Like, obviously it's a nice fuck you to your past partner, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, anytime you do something like that, it's nice, and I get it. But without that person, the new person that gives you that love and that support, you could release it and kind of fall back into a darker place. Because again, this is a way, it's like a therapeutic way of grieving a relationship.
Yes.
Right? So it's just, the fact that you have someone is nice.
It is, because I remember when that relationship did end, I was in a dark hole, like sitting at home, eating a shit ton of ice cream, crying.
What's with women and ice cream during breakups?
Yo, I don't know. It's not just that, it's period too.
Okay, I've heard.
Like,
I just found out that women have period cravings. I didn't know that was a thing.
oh, we go through a lot.
I didn't know period.
You're
I knew pregnancy cravings were a thing.
Well, it's like period cravings. I would say it's probably more just an excuse for girls to like eat what they want to eat. But like again, I think everyone's different.
Yeah, maybe. I'm the only guy in this.
I don't have period cravings.
I don't really have.
But it's just like whatever, like you just kind of like
the hormones are hormoning.
It's like I'm feeling like
the
this.
Hormones
so like
are hormoning.
Hormoning.
Yeah. I love it when I see those memes.
Yeah, but I feel like it would have been so much harder if I didn't have Julian by my side.
Shout out Julian.
Shout out Jules.
We love that.
He's the best. But yeah, like a lot of the songs I wrote in Oz, and it was a nice blend. I wrote a lot of them in Australia, and I wrote a lot of them here. So it's like a bit of like two of my homes. You know.
When you write your songs, where do you take most of your inspiration from? Like obviously this one is a lot of the breakup, but in general, is it past life experiences, like stories from friends, just random thoughts and ideas?
A lot of these songs, I went in with a song title. So K-Bye, I wanted it to be Boy Bye. And then my guitarist was like, K-Bye is more generic and everybody says K-Bye. And I was like, I really like that. So I had that song title. What other song title did I have? I didn't even have a song title for Over It. A lot of these were like, I went in and I was like, I don't even know what to write about today. And they're like, well, it just sounds like you're over it. And then we kind of went with Over It. So
it's insane, like to think about like the writing process from like different people and like just hearing it from different artists, like the fact that you like going in with like a song title and then like that one is just like, what were you talking in that moment? Like you were talking about like, okay, you're just sounds like you're over.
Well, I was talking about the relationship, and I remember walking in, and shout out to Jordan Postreno, he's the producer that was working on the demo of this track. And I walked into his house, and he didn't even know two more girls were coming to the session. And I was like, da da da. I was like, oh, by the way, you know, the two girls are coming. He's like, oh, I thought it was just going to be us, but that's cool too. It doesn't matter. And I was telling him about my relationship because he knew a lot about it, and he's like, Brooke, it sounds like you're over it. And then he played a riff on the guitar, and I was like, I fucking love that. And then we just were like, da, 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 na, 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 da, da, da. That was the riff. Da, na. And then we went with drop top with the radio off. So yeah, it's just, music's funny.
We've had so many musicians on. We usually talk about the writing process, and it's like, a lot of people, like, we usually come in with like keywords that we want to say, or, you know, we come in with a beat and a topic or something. You're just like, yeah, I came in there, we started talking, and boom.
Yeah, like, and that was that song. But then Killing Me, for example, I was like, I want something that sounds like Lizzo was like, you know, going crazy at the time. Like she had become really big. And I wanted something that was like dun 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 dun. And then the producer was like, okay, started kind of making that. And then I was like, na 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 na. And then we just start singing the melodies over the top, kind of having turns with the other writer, Carla, who was with me in the room. And then the song just goes from there. So it varies. Sometimes it's like song title. Sometimes it's like, I have no idea what the fuck I want to write about, but I love.
We're going to write a song about not knowing. Like, boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, I love this Ariana Grande track. Can we like use that as a reference track? Then they build something that's kind of similar, but different enough to not.
Yeah. It's so cool too now to see that, like, technology and the music industry's advanced so much, where before, like, you'd have to go get a studio. It's like you only had 2 hours and you just like come ready to rock and roll. We're here now. It's almost kind of like a lot of people have like basement studios, or you have the computer software, you got like a couple of instruments and that's it, and you can basically make a track just like that.
100%. Like, I recorded all of my vocals in my 500 square foot condo with like no padding or nothing, right?
Really?
It's just like
Yeah,
that.
I like vocal produced all my own vocals, just recorded it all, because I actually couldn't get into a studio because I was just like so overwhelmed and like my head was in so much pain that I was like, I need to do it in the comfort of my home.
So
That's
do you-
insane.
But did you not use any of like, or maybe this is the next album EP where it's like this battle of like not being yourself because of this concussion? Is any of that like in the songs, or?
No, but Killing Me is a great song. It's like it touches on a relationship, but I feel like it's your personal interpretation, right? That's the great thing about music. When you put the headphones on, you're like, I feel this, whereas you feel something completely different. Killing Me, for me, when I first wrote it, it was about this toxic relationship and the pull and push of the relationship, and that no matter what I do or what you try and do, I'm not going to leave this, and it's internally and physically killing me, even though I know it's not right for me and I should leave, but I'm not going to. I was listening to Killing Me now, for me, is like the concussion, the battle of that, and like who I was, and like mourning this Brooke that I used to be. Because last year I was fucking running marathons, and this year's like I've literally been at home not wanting to go anywhere. So I think that song out of the whole entire EP kind of has stood out to me this year for myself with what I've been going through. But I do have a lot of songs, its own little EP that I want to release that's about mental health mainly, because I feel like it's such an important topic, and I don't know why therapy costs so much money. It should be free.
We can talk about that for hours. But when people listen to the EP, what do you want them to, like, how do you want them to feel? Obviously everybody listens to music and feels different ways, but if it's up to you and you could describe a feeling, what's the feeling?
The feeling is,
I love that you smiled thinking about something.
yeah, I want anyone that listens to it to feel free and like they can get out of whatever mess they're in, and they're okay and they're not alone. I feel like I was really caught up in this relationship, and I think a lot of people can get caught up in the wrong relationships. And I think specifically ending the song with Cancelled, it's like, doesn't matter what I'm going through, like I've got myself. Like I am my own best friend. And basically that song's like everybody else, like, fuck you. Like I'm good on my own. So I feel like I want people to take that away from the EP. Like even though they're going through struggles, like there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
How was it going for you, like going from the girl group to then now releasing songs on your own?
So the girl group, oh my God, so sad. I love Beats. I love the girl group so much. We only released one song together, which went really well. Like no PR, like we basically like self-funded everything. Like it did itself, like the work by itself. It took a while because I moved to Canada being like, I don't want to do music, period. I was like, I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I just want to work a normal job.
But time out. You said when you were younger, you knew that this is all you wanted to do. In your bones, you knew that.
Yes.
So what made you feel that you didn't want to do it? And sorry to cut you off your question,
No,
Danny.
I think Beats got so exhausting. We were fighting a lot, the girls in the group, and it was just like, we're exhausted now. Like I'm burnt out. I'm done.
Takes the love away.
And it did. It felt like work, and I'm like, that's not why I started this. So I was like, I need a break. And obviously I came back to it. Here I am. Right?
But sometimes that's what you need. You need a break from
Yeah.
it. Especially when you're, and I don't know, maybe people listening to this will feel that way. When you love something so much and you know you're good at it, and you know that you're meant to do this, and then you stop loving it all of a sudden, it's time to step away from it. Don't just keep beating it and trying to, beat it to a dead horse or whatever the expression is. Like, take a break. Take some time away from it. And then you'll know, hey, maybe I miss it or maybe I don't. And I feel like that's relatable to anything in the world, not just career or hobbies, people. It's everything.
1,000%. And life's not linear, right? Like this is working in your life, but this isn't right now. And that's okay. That's how life is. Like it's an up and down hill. And everyone's like, well, like my fitness isn't great, but my career is going really great at the moment. And like this relationship isn't, and it's on the rocks. And it's like, but that's okay. Like things will work itself out. Like, you know, but go on.
Well, no, because I want to get back to the girl group again. But in life, there's, and I've always explained this to you, like your life is held up by these pillars, right? Like you got your family, you got your friends, your career, your social life, your hobbies, your fitness, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the things that like are key in your life. If one's not doing well, but the others are, you're still good. It's like when 2 or 3, maybe 4 start falling, then you know you're in trouble.
Right.
But just because, you know, your fitness isn't good, but your friends are good, your family's good, your career's good, it's like, yo, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Very rarely is everything going to be perfect in your life.
Yeah.
Very fucking rare. And what is, appreciate it, because it's not going to last.
Right.
It's not going to last. You need to appreciate those moments.
Yeah, 1,000%. I totally agree.
Back to the
your
girl
question.
group.
Going from Beats to doing solo stuff was hard because like Beats had such an attraction and we basically went viral overnight from our very first X Factor audition. Like when I first got to Toronto, I still had purple hair because I had purple hair in the group, and people were like, are you from that girl group? And I was like, oh my God, people know me in Canada. Are you kidding? I made it, Mum. And then like going to solo stuff was like, how do I top that? Like, I just had like, first of all, I got mentored by Mel B on X Factor. I was in an audition that went viral. Like everyone knew the Hollaback Girl audition. Like people knew us in New York when we got up and sang at a bar, Alicia and I. People were like, you are that fucking girl group Hollaback Girl. And we were like, how do you know that? I don't even have purple hair anymore. I've got blonde hair at this point. But it's nice to be able to release music that I know are my personal stories too. So, yeah, going back to the question, it's not as fun on stage because I loved looking to my right and my left and seeing both of the girls. It's just there is something so special about us 3 being on stage together that is unmatched. And I miss that about being Brooke Stilla on her own doing her stuff, right? So I don't know. Maybe a comeback, maybe not. I'm not sure. We'll see.
It's completely different too, though, right? Like when you're singing with other girls, not every story is going to mean the same to you as it does with your own solo career. Like your own solo career, like these are your thoughts and your thoughts and your own emotions only, right? Like you control the ship 100%. When you're in a group, you don't have full control, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what's really hard about it because it's like, well, you two have an opinion and I have my own opinion, but now we just got to do the majority rules kind of thing instead of like, well, that's the better route. It's like, you know. So I think
at the end of the day, like when you think about it, how many actual like girl groups, boy groups
last?
And
I don't think they're meant to. That's the thing.
Without them going, because like if you look like Destiny's Child, Beyonce's out.
I actually just saw her dad speak at what show was it? The Social.
Yeah,
he was on The Social.
Really?
And my friend invited me because she was the hype crew person, hype audience person, and she was like, Beyonce's dad speaking to her. I was like, sorry, what? Who? And she was like, yeah. And then he was talking about he had breast cancer, and it's like not very common in males. And so he was like raising awareness about that and talking about that. And then they asked questions about Destiny's Child, and he was like, the group was never meant to last.
Never, yeah.
They never broke up though,
right?
Well,
they performed again at the Super Bowl, a couple years ago.
See, but if you think about it, so a lot of like male groups and female groups don't last, but how many artists last too, right?
Right.
Well, what do you mean?
Some artists just eventually stop performing too, stop writing.
Well, yeah, but it gets to a point too, like maybe they're just done with like their career. Like they could also make that choice. Like I want to.
Right. Yeah. I want to do something else, or I'm having kids, or you know.
It's like how many times like the average person, let's say, retires between the age of 60 and 65. why can't artists do that as well?
True. Or maybe they're just like, this is not sustainable. I need to sell feet pictures.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but like back to her idea. But sometimes I think in the entertainment and like arts creative space, it's different because it's not just a typical job where you can kind of clock in, clock out, you do your work and whatever. It's completely different in the sense that you don't live a normal life.
Yes, but I'm
Right?
also
Like,
looking
yeah.
at like the starting as a girl group to like, it's almost like a career change. Like you're going for a normal job. Like look at me, like I'm an accountant. Once I get my CPA, I have a promotion. That's a change in my
Right.
career.
I
Or if I
basically got-
change companies, I'm not saying it. Maybe it's a direct promotion, but if someone's like saying, "Oh, I'm in a group and I'm going off solo," that's a different step of the same career. It's the same job.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think in this career, in this space, it's so much easier to just be like, fuck this. I'm done. I
Yeah.
need a break.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
the highs are so much higher than a normal job, right? So it's like normal trajectories for most normal people is like this, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if we're going to
whereas
just compare right
careers,
now.
like in the arts, it's like,
all over the
Oh, like
place.
I wish someone told me when I was younger, don't sing and don't dance. I have like so much love and passion for it. Like I said, it's the thing I need to do. But it's like the amount of money I put into my EP and this career and the amount I get back is like,
what the fuck?
what
if
the
you're not,
fuck?
especially if you're not touring.
Literally. And it's like, even with beats, right? Like, we were doing really well, and we were actually doing pretty good. We were getting like good money for gigs and stuff, and we were able to fund our own project with money that we got from gigs. But when you're a solo artist, and I think that's the thing, it's easier in a group too. It's like there's 3 of us contributing, whereas a solo, it's
Three of
all
you
on
working towards one goal as opposed to one of you working
you.
towards
Right.
one goal.
There's one person doing emails, one person's doing all the content creating, one other person's
Working on music.
all the choreography, whatever it is. Whereas like when you're doing it all yourself, it's
Fucking
you go in
draining.
overdrive and like burnout easily. And that's how I kind of felt after this EP, sadly. I was like, I'm exhausted.
Well, especially you saying like recording in your apartment
Yeah.
by yourself,
No,
and doing all
and
your
it's-
vocals, producing.
I think it's also the concussion probably
On
does
top
it.
of
Yeah,
it,
like if you're
1,000%.
if you're not mentally 100% and you just completed this major feat,
Yeah,
it's fucking tricky.
100%. And like before I did my e-talk interview, I cried before. Like if you met me back in June, you would have been like completely different Brooke. Like this is the Brooke that everybody knows. Whereas this e-talk interview, I cried and I was like, I'm not really good with responding, and things take a lot of time to process in my head. So if my reaction time is slow, and I just broke down, and they're like, Brooke, it's not live. It's okay. And I was just like freaking out. And I was like, who am I? I love to fucking talk. Like, why am
You're
I?
an Aussie.
But it's because of my concussion and
Yeah.
just like everything that it's kind of like weighed on
Well,
me
it's not
this
even
year.
that, it's
Yeah,
just
like,
like-
it took a part of you, like that you didn't know like could leave.
Right. Like I was mourning this
Yeah, this person.
me. Which
It's
is weird.
It's funny because you might not know this. I wrote a book of poems recently, right, about, and the main theme is like love and heartbreak and everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of what you're talking about too, like I resonate. It's completely different, but a lot of what you're saying, like I resonate with too, because I'm like, fuck, like I went on CB24. My thing was it wasn't the same as yours. But like mine is I didn't appreciate a lot of things I was doing because I'm the type of guy that I do a million things every day, all day. I'm doing the most. I'm driving 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to get to places as fast as I can and trying to reach new goals. And I reach so many of these goals and I don't appreciate any of them. Or this summer I wasn't, at least. I was just like, okay, got this. What's next? Got that. What's next? Got that. What's next? Came to a point where it's like, I'm like actively telling myself, slow the fuck down
Right.
and like enjoy this, because what I'm doing right now, like I might never do ever again.
Right.
You know, like I wrote a book. I'm doing this content thing. I have a day job. I own a pickleball team. I'm investing in a brewery.
love
Like,
pickleball.
do you really?
Fucking obsessed.
Actually?
Oh my god.
I love pickleball.
Do you play?
Me and my partner, we got rackets and the balls. Yeah, we
Paddles,
play.
but yeah, it's fine.
Paddles, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, oh my god, I don't
You
love
don't
it that
like
much.
pickleball that
honestly.
much. It's okay. No, I'm kidding.
No paddles.
Good, I love that
do.
for you.
That was like one of the only things I could actually like enjoy, like with my like healing process with my concussion.
See, pickleball helps concussion healing. Look at this.
Pickleball, there you go.
We have a
We
perfect
just made a
example.
commercial.
Yeah, fuck for real. We love that. No, but it's one of those things that when you're mentally like in a different place, and I'm not saying a concussion's what I was dealing with, but mentally I wasn't fully myself. Where it's like usually I celebrate every win. Like I can have a good day and fucking find a reason to celebrate just because I had a good day.
Right.
Like I celebrate every little victory.
Right.
Like so many times this year, not even this year, like last like maybe 3 to 4 months, I didn't celebrate my wins as much because I was just so focused on getting the next win, getting that next metaphorical high, achieving that next goal where it's like, fuck, I look back on the last like 6 months of my life and I've done so much. And I didn't celebrate like any of it.
I relate to that so much because that's in a different way, like you just said. But this year it's like there's been so many wins. Like I released a fucking debut EP. Like I recorded all the songs myself. I'm about to become a citizen. Like so many things. I've got to go to Europe for the first time. I turned 30. Like so many wins. But I think because I've been in this really like
different headspace.
Yeah. It's just like instead of like focusing on the next thing, it was like, that was just like,
How do I even get through this one?
Yeah. How do I do the next thing? Like, you know, just from the exhaustion of trying to heal.
Yeah. And mine was, I'm almost on the opposite. It was just like, I wasn't trying to heal. It's like, okay, I got this. Okay, what's next? Okay, I gotta go. I got that. What's next? Okay. Oh, I got 2 things done today. What's next? Like, whoa, slow the fuck down.
Yeah, like
You
breathe.
know, like even the CP24 day, like I literally made a purpose. I've never been on CP24 before, ever. And I've tried to get on like 10 times. Like I've tried so many times.
Oh, I got on so easy.
Yeah, I got on so easy this time. I had help this time. But like I've tried to get on like I had an app with my friends. I tried to get on for this podcast once. I tried to get on for pickleball. When I was a kid, I tried to get on fucking CP24 so many times.
You finally made it.
Finally fucking got it.
You made it, Ricky.
And that day I was like, I'm going to make sure I enjoy this. Like, Just was with me. Like, we vlogged it. Like, I really enjoyed it. I took it in. Like, we got there early. It was a quick thing. You're only in there for like 30 fucking minutes total. But I was like, I'm going to enjoy this because that was cool to me. Like, that's something I wanted to do. Like, I did the book launch. And I made sure that night, I'm like, I'm not just going to do this event and just like shake hands and kiss babies. Like, no, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to make sure I talk to everyone. I'm going to do everything I want to do. And I'm going to do it for me because this is, I'm celebrating this one for myself. And now it's like, I literally almost got a tattoo saying slow down just because I need, or like a yield sign, just like a caution or something. Like just slow the fuck down. Or like a little turtle or something. Cause I'm like, I almost got a little turtle.
Turtle's cute. I'm an advocate for the turtle.
A turtle right here.
A turtle's cute.
Yeah. It's just slow the fuck down. Like I'm just.
Well, you need to put the turtle where you can see it. You can't really. You got.
No, I would know it's there.
Okay.
I would know it's there. Yeah, I wouldn't. They were like I don't want to touch this arm. I like the way this arm currently looks. This arm, like right there, would be a nice, cute little thing. Like underneath where the watch goes.
I mean, I think you should do it. What's stopping you?
Because I should be.
Because you're going?
I should be a cheetah because I like to go a fucking million miles an hour. I want to
Maybe
go.
Maybe half cheetah, half turtle. The back of it's a turtle and the front of it's a cheetah.
Maybe a cheetah in a turtle shell. Ooh, now I'm.
That's cool and interesting.
Now I'm onto something.
I'm about to get a new
picture
tattoo
like
as well.
what's the Cheetos cheetah with like a Ninja Turtle shell.
And he's back and he's like this.
Yeah.
What's his name? Chester.
And like Leonardo.
Yes, I was gonna say like one of the Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, yeah.
Do you have tattoos?
I have some. So I got this one in Nashville.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, fun.
And it's a treble clef and a bass clef, basically meant to look like with a semicolon.
Do you know what either of those are?
Yeah, music notes.
Yeah, so treble clef is high notes, and then bass clef is the bass notes.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that.
And then
actually, it's a music note.
And then I got it instead of so the 2 dots are normally the bass clef part of it, but I got it as a semicolon instead to remember that like music makes us pause and just kind of reflect.
Oh, I like that.
And also like for mental health and stuff, because I feel like my music sessions are like therapy.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And make me pause and kind of like sit there and think about choices in life.
If you weren't a musician, I know that's all you've ever thought about doing, and I know that's what you want to do, and that's whatever.
I love this question already.
What would you do?
What would I do? I'd be a detective.
Actually,
Really? I was not.
Or a psychologist.
Okay, I was gonna say something along the lines of like a librarian / like.
Librarian? Like she's wearing glasses?
Well, no,
Like that's
no.
literally you.
No, like I
because
just.
she's wearing glasses right now. That you think she's a librarian. Did you know if she reads?
No, but just like
that is such an assumption.
I would picture you as someone that like lives a very quiet life, just like sitting in like a corner, small.
I don't see a quiet life at all. I see opposite of that. I'm thinking quiet life this year, maybe because of what she's been going through. But I think on top of Like,
Like,
if
I
you
would've
didn't have
pictured
a
you-
concussion, you don't live a quiet life at all.
No,
I
it's
would have
not
pictured
at all.
you in like, I don't know why.
It's loud. I have
Just
a
because the way I think about it, I'm like, you are this loud personality that's music, but like I figure if you didn't do that, you would have a totally different lifestyle.
I kind
So
of
I picked like what I'm picturing in my head is like you're putting back books in like the New York Library or something.
definitely not a librarian. Like never in my life have I
okay.
ever thought
Maybe
of
I'm
being a
just out to
librarian.
fucking
Do you
lunch
read?
today.
I haven't this year because it's been like
Tough to
It's
concentrate.
okay.
Yeah.
We're both not big
But
readers
normally
either.
I do love to read.
See, I was onto something.
I like to read like self-help books because like I have a lot of issues and problems.
Don't we all?
That's probably
Don't
why I
we
want to
all?
be a psychologist.
Okay, that makes sense.
My partner's like, you would be a great psychologist. Like, if you choose not to ever do music, I think you should go and study to do psychology. And I'm like, so why don't you listen to anything I say? I love him. Love you, Jules. No, I think I've always like been so interested in finding things out. I'm like the best friend that's like, you go on a date and I'm like, what's his name?
Oh, you can find anything out.
Find
Same. Yeah.
everything out.
FBI, everything.
FBI, you know? But I think like I ended up loving the fitness industry. So I'm actually a personal trainer and fitness coach as well. I haven't done that for the past year though. And I teach dance and music. So I think like,
dance and music is aligned
yeah.
with what you do.
but I think always like being like, I've always loved to teach and nurture people. So I don't know, life coach, but my life's in shambles. So
no, but you said like personal trainer, like that's on the line of like psychologist. You want to help people, different type of helping, the mind and the mod.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mhm,
the
mind and the
and the
body.
body.
But you also said you ran a marathon.
I ran 2 last
You
year.
ran
I ran
2
both Toronto marathons last year. My
for
first
you.
ever race were both marathons.
No
Good for you.
way.
Yeah.
Mark, what time? If you don't mind me asking.
My best time is 3 hours, 58
Shut the fuck
minutes
up.
and 52 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Very good for
My first marathon was like, I was on such a fucking high. The second one, I was on like anti-inflammatories the whole run and it was just like hell. But I still got through it. I was just like, don't stop. Just finish the race. And I did.
Usually it's a question I would ask towards the end. I don't even know if we're towards the end, but I want to ask it now anyways. What's one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self? Or what's one thing you would, not even piece of advice, what's one thing you would say to your younger self?
Oh my God, I think I would say so many things.
Say them all. Like you're talking to 7-year-old Brooke back in Australia.
I would say love yourself, period. No matter what size you are. Because I think I've always really struggled with body image. You're like really getting into a deep void now.
It's okay. That's what we're here for.
Because I don't want to cry.
It's okay. You can cry.
Oh.
You can cry.
Um,
It's been a while since
I
I
think
cried
I've
too.
got
I
a
can
lot
do a
of-
good cry with you.
I think I definitely have like a lot of body dysmorphia. And like, I think being in the dance industry too is like just, and being in competitive dance is like, you've got to be this certain look, this certain image. And my whole life it was like, well, Brooke's got to prove herself. She's got to prove herself. Maybe because I was like, you know, my family liked to call me Tabalaka. That's what they called me when I was little. So like I was chubbier. And I think that's like put a taint on like my body image for myself. Like you look at yourself when you're a kid and you're like, well, the years that you're like watching everything that your parents do and say is like from like being a baby to like 7, 8 years old. And then all of this stuff's coming up now. And I'm like, fuck, it took you how many years? Like I'm 30 years old now for all of this to come up. But I think I would say like love yourself for what you are, like in that moment in time. Like right now, this year, I've gained so much weight and I'm like, I don't love myself. But I'm like, you've just gone through a fucking accident that you're lucky you're not dead. Be grateful and like your body is healing. Like let it do what it needs to do. So I think that would be the main thing I would say to myself. And then I would also say, don't get a boyfriend.
But if you gave yourself that, then you would have never met Jules.
True. And I adore Jules. But I think my younger self, don't get a boyfriend until you're like
Until you
late
meet
20s.
Jules.
Yeah.
So you meet Jules.
Don't get a boyfriend.
Wait for Jules. See, but at the same
Because
time,
he is a Jules.
No,
No, but don't meet your
wait.
boyfriend until you like. I guess like I think it's like goes hand in hand with the first one until you found like a way to love yourself,
Yeah.
and you realize that at a later age, and that's when you also met your partner and this and that. And it's like learning to love yourself before you can love anyone else.
And I think so many people go into relationships trying to find that love and that validation from somebody else, where it's like you need to have it in yourself for yourself before getting into that other relationship.
I've said this way too many times, but there's a reason why when you're on a plane, and in case of emergency, put your own mask on before you put someone else's on. Because you cannot help others unless you are whole.
Yeah.
You cannot give to others unless you have something to give.
Yeah.
And so many times, and I know so many people that are really guilty of this, where they want to help and their intentions are the absolute most and they're the best. But it's like, fucking take care of yourself. Be the best possible version you can be, so that when you do meet your person, you are perfect for them. Because it's like, what was the quote I saw the other day? I think I made a TikTok about it, where it's like, you haven't met your person because you haven't become their perfect person yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so like, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. It's like, maybe the reason why I'm single, you're single, she's not single, but maybe the reason why people are single is because they haven't become the person they are in order to meet their person yet.
Right.
You know, maybe when you are this best version of yourself, your person will show up. And I strongly believe that. But back to what you're saying too, I also do believe when you meet a good person, you need to know what the shitty ones are like to appreciate the good ones.
Right.
I think without the shitty one, you wouldn't appreciate how good Jules is.
1,000%. So I was like, would I say to myself, don't get a boyfriend? I don't know. Maybe not.
We like the first advice.
You also wouldn't have this EP.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have my debut.
Yeah, there we go.
So it's like you gotta
You date the asshole.
You
date the asshole. We need the CP to come out.
You gotta go through the shit to get the diamond, you know?
Yeah, you gotta kiss
to get the good stuff.
The prince.
I think another good thing to tell my younger self would be like, be selfish, because I used to say yes a lot.
Fucking right.
That's my problem.
Brooke, we're aligned here.
I'm really trying my best this year. That's my goal this year. To stop saying yes as much, and
like the people pleaser in you.
It's starting to work. I still like sometimes, like I'm not perfect yet.
Yeah.
I still sometimes people please way too much, but I'm trying and it's working, and it's making me a lot happier.
Yeah, 100% it's going to. You got to think of you before anybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking my language.
So many times people would be like, oh, like, you want to do this? I used to be like, oh, yeah. And I would just go for the sake of, like, I don't want to let them down kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what I'm letting myself down. I'm not well enough to go. I can't go. I'm not going to go.
What? And I hate saying this sometimes. One of my, like, the best things about me is that I'm so, like, honestly selfish. And I can admit it.
That's great.
I will, before anybody else, I will do what makes me happy. And like my mom my mom, and love her so, my mom's like my best friend. I'm taking her to
I know, I heard. I remember. I was going to say T-Swift.
She'll tell me like, you have to do this. I'm like, why? She'll, well, you just have to. And I'm like,
no, she commented this on the last episode on our YouTube when you talked about this, that it might just be her foreign way of speaking.
I challenge my mom a lot too.
Sometimes she'll be like, oh, we got to go to like our aunt's house for dinner. I was like, sounds like a you problem. I saw my aunt at work today. I'm good. I don't have to go to dinner. Oh, no, you have to go. I'm like, sorry, why? Well, everyone's going to be there. I'm like, that didn't sound like a real reason why.
Okay, but there's also sometimes family obligations, and I think...
But you know what?
There are no family obligations.
Is your mom Italian?
Half, yeah. She's Brazilian.
So it could be the foreign thing, because my mom's the same. I had an argument with my mom on the phone yesterday, and she was like, this time, and I was like, sorry, that has no relation to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, it's like,
and she's like, yeah, but, and I'm like, what?
I'm like, ask me nicely, maybe, yeah, because I love you, but don't tell me I have to do something. And Mom, I love you to death. And
I mean, I love my mom too.
90% of the things you ask me to do, but I am so honestly selfish that I will put myself first before fucking anything. And I don't even second guess it. If I have no, I hate when people bail on plans. But if I'm not 100%, I will bail on a plan, no questions asked.
Right, and I used to
I was like, yeah, I'm not 100%. They're like, so what? Come. I'm like, no, I don't want to. What if I meet cool people today? I don't want to introduce them to a shittier version of myself. That does nobody a service.
Right. When people used to bail on me, I used to be like, oh, like, that makes me sad. But now I'm like,
I get it.
You got to take care of yourself. You do you. You know?
Yeah, I'm still trying.
Danny, you'll get there. We are nearing the wrap-up part. Danny, do you want to ask the question? Or?
What's the dream?
Yeah.
What is your dream?
Bring the mic with you too. Fucking bring the mic. I'm gonna put you in this seat soon.
No, what's your dream?
You're
not even. So you're making me nervous. Stop it. Like, please. I was just like in my head thinking about things, and you're just like, ask a question. I'm like, Anyways, what's your dream venue you'd like to play at or perform at?
100% Madison Square Garden. Even though when you get off the bus at Madison Square Garden, you're like, what? Because there's just homeless people everywhere, and it just looks like there's a crack on the street.
Hey, they don't have a tunnel?
when I got off the bus in New York last
Oh,
year.
in New York, yeah, but not at Madison Square. You didn't go in, like, you weren't
No,
performing.
not in,
Yeah.
but outside. I remember when I got off the bus this time, and I was like, "Oh, I thought New York was like."
No.
I
think it's because I live in Toronto now. Whereas as an Aussie, when I first went, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And now that I live in a big city, I'm like,
Okay, so I was just in New York, and I think there's more homeless people in Toronto than there is New
"There
York.
is."
Like,
There
there's
is.
way more homeless people. I was walking around the city of New York, and like, obviously, it's like New York, and I love the dirtiness. I love the smell. I love everything about
I
it.
love the shit on the street.
I love it so much. But there was more. I feel more unsafe sometimes
In
walking
Toronto.
around Toronto than I do New York.
I do as well.
Do you know what's
Yeah.
actually so fucking...
And that's sad.
It's really
We've
sad.
been talking a lot of shit about Toronto lately, but fuck it deserves it. I walk a lot, like, especially in the summertime. I walk a lot, and
Yeah.
I don't get too worried because, again, I'm a normal sized dude. Like, majority of the people I walk by on the street, I'm probably bigger than. But I thought about this the other night as I was walking outside late at night. I was walking back from here to my condo, and I remember thinking, if I was a little female, I would not be okay walking right now.
I
Yeah.
get scared leaving the studio after. Sometimes we're sitting here a bit later, and I literally get him, be like, "Can you walk me to my car?" Which is literally a street over. But I'm like, I don't know what's in between this street and that street, and I'm scared. Like, just walk me to somewhere where you can see, because if he's like doing something, I'll call someone and talk to them on the phone.
Yeah.
Or like, I just bought a condo right down the street from here, but it's like a nice area, like especially where my place is, and I just saw did you hear about the shooting at a studio?
What?
100 gunshots
Yeah, I heard
at a
about that.
recording studio.
Didn't like 4 people die? or something?
25 people got arrested, and it was basically a bunch of people in this recording studio with guns, and then someone pulled up and they all started shooting each other, and then like cops were there, and it's literally up the street from my house, and it's like people were like in these nice condo buildings filming from their balcony what was happening on the street.
It's just, I feel
Like,
like
that's terrifying.
I loved Toronto when I first got here, and it makes me really sad to what it's turned into. Like, the past 7 years I've been here, I'm like, it's gone south, and it makes me sad because it's a really cool place, and there's some really fucking cool people here.
Well, who knows? You might not have to deal with this for too much longer. Who knows?
I like that you slipped that in there.
Brooke, wait, anything else, Danny, before we
No.
wrap up? We appreciate you coming on. This was lovely.
a lot of fun.
I
No,
genuinely really
thank you so
appreciate
much.
this.
I had the best time.
Yes. If people want to find out more about your music, your new EP, where can they go? How can they find you?
BrookeStilla.com, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
Or my
perfect.
Instagram it's just complicated. It should be Brooke Stilla, but it's Brooks, BROOXE. But
Okay.
Brooke Stilla has
We'll tag you, don't worry. It'll be
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I was like,
it'll
oh my god, this is so hard to explain.
Yeah.
But Brooke Stilla, Spotify, Apple Music,
it'll
you
be
know,
there.
YouTube.
And if you made it to the end, we appreciate you guys. Give Brooke a follow, give Danny a follow, give myself a follow, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Cheers, pals.
I